rules signal a return to more traditional notions of patriarchy, masculinity, and nationalism, which includes control over gender, sexuality, and much more.
Australia's finest military minds are worried.
This is a national challenge that Australia has.
Former Major General Mick Ryan is one of them.
We face a range of cyber, economic, informational, political, diplomatic and military challenges with the coercion of the Chinese Communist Party that are well beyond anything we've seen before. It is a national challenge, not just a military one.
And former Major General
one way to take the pulse of a nation. Made in China is a mark that can be seen around the world. From men's suits to high-speed trains. From microchips to the Beidou navigation satellite system. But the processes of manufacturing are daily becoming more demanding, exacting, challenging. Lines are being revolutionized by a new wave of industrial technologies that mean manufacturing will never be the same again. Seven out of the world's 10 biggest ports are in China. Every year, they see up to 160 million tons of goods leave for the outside world round the clock. Since the start of 2013, China has been the world's largest exporter. Its manufacturing power has long been something of legend. Now this manufacturing power is being turned to the method by which Chinese-made goods reach the outside world. Another of the world's mega container ships is under construction at this Chinese shipyard. At 399 meters long, it will rank with the biggest in the world. When fully loaded with containers, it can sail for 40 days uninterrupted, a true leviathan of the seas. This is the first time a container ship of this size, with a capacity of 20,000 standard containers, has been built in China. For the engineers, precision is the greatest challenge in building this giant. They must work in all areas to a margin of error of less than 5 millimeters. Ensuring this precision starts with the cutting of the plates. 42,000 tons of steel plate is transported to a workshop in batches. A plasma cutter that cuts the plates in exact accordance with the design drawings to within a single millimeter. The heart of the shipyard is this giant dock, the size of 7 football fields. The dock is the yard's most valuable resource, so efficiency dictates that each vessel should occupy it for the shortest possible time. To speed the building process, the various sections of the ship are put together in modules away from the main dock. The original design of the ship splits it into 399 units or modules, which can be assembled separately and simultaneously at various sites around the yard. These are then brought together for final assembly in the dock. Although broken down into 399 modules, each weighs many dozens of tons, and moving them around is not easy. One of the largest modules, the bridge and superstructure, is ready to be hoisted into position. It weighs over 600 tons. It will be lifted by 2 huge gantry cranes that themselves weigh 1,200 tons in total. The real difficulty is not in the lifting, but how to install it on deck to the nearest millimeter. It requires the precise coordination of dozens of skilled workers. The cranes get the bridge in place when suddenly a strong wind gets up. Even a 1,200-ton crane system can't hold a 600-ton bridge steady in the force 8 gale. It is decided to delay the operation. After a couple of hours, the wind drops. The welders seize the opportunity to make quick work of marrying the superstructure to the hull, and as ever, precision is the watchword. At the same time, in the hold, another group of engineers are conducting a test. A test frame the size of a standard container is lowered down into the vessel. In future,